Hello again, it's me, the guy with the YouTube channel, doing another figure review. It feels like it's been a really long time since my last figure review. But anyways, now that school's over, maybe I'll have more time to record these videos. So anyways, today we are doing my first Ultra Monster review, and that is of the Bandai 2007 Ultra Monster series, Bajiris, from Ultraman Tiga, Dyna, Gaia, Battle in Hyperspace. Now, for Ultra Monsters, I'm going to go over the history of them, at least very briefly, because they're Ultra Monsters, people are less likely to know. But with Godzilla and Gamera Monsters, I'll just not cover history. But for him, he appeared in Ultraman Tiga, Dyna, Gaia, Battle in Hyperspace, like I said, in which, when King of Monsters is fighting Ultraman Gaia, Bajiris spawns out of King of Monsters' bone wings. Also, the monster Skyla spawns out of King of Monsters' stomach, in which they triple team Gaia, and then the main character of the movie, whose name I don't know, finds the wishing stone that brought King of Monsters to life, and uses it to make a wish to help Gaia, which summons forth Tiga and Dyna. Tiga fights Skyla underwater, and Dyna fights Bajiris here in Earth's atmosphere. Very brief history. I don't think he's ever appeared again. Anyways, now getting on to detail, we'll focus. There we go. Focused pretty quickly today. As you can see, it's pretty nice. His legs look kind of like the legs of a powered monster, which Bajiris kind of looks like a powered monster a lot in some places, I'd say, but it's pretty smooth, pretty accurate, I guess. There's a white dot on the bottom of his foot as well. This is the 2007 reissue, or recent reissue. Well, not really that recent. It was quite a while ago when this was reissued, but this isn't the 1998, the original 1998, but it's a mold from 1998. And you can see his very insectoid back. He is missing paint right there and right there, but it's not that big of a deal. It's usually covered up by his bone wings, which the bone wings look okay, but the major issue is that there's these black spots. He does not have those. Those are supposed to be holes, and they're kind of the reason of a very big issue with this figure, but we'll get to that later. But the bone wings look pretty nice. A nice detail right there. A lot of it's just smooth surfaces on this figure, which, oh, meh. But that's how he was in the movie, so, yeah, I'm not going to complain there. Probably should be a gap right there, but eh, not much you can do about that. And his face, something kind of off about it, but I can't really tell what. And another issue with this figure I have, his beak is half open, and it's just filled in, so you can't really, yeah, it just looks kind of funny, and probably the reason why his face looks kind of off, I think it actually might be that his eyes are a little too small, but I'm not really too sure on that. So detail and paint job are pretty good. Oh, didn't really go over paint job that much. His blue vinyl with gold in places, slightly darker gold for these parts, and a lighter gold for the bone wings, and just run. Don't really know what to say. There's not a whole lot to say in this review, and there's some kind of grayish spray in some areas, and there's silver on the bottom of his scissor claw things. So, yeah, detail and paint job are pretty good. And for articulation, the arms, they can go 360, but I advise against moving them 360 because they will hit up against there and wear away the vinyl. Obviously, you don't want to do that because it can damage the figure. Nothing in the legs. The waist is a glue seal, and I have took off one of the wings and stuck my finger in there, and if you broke it, it probably could move, but it's a very odd shape, so you don't break the glue seal. It is actually kind of half broken on mine because he's kind of used figure I got him at G-Fest. And finally, his wings can move. These ones, the top ones can go 360, and the bottom ones cannot. This review is going by really quickly, huh? I prefer to just leave him down, but you can obviously get him out in a flying pose. Like that. So there you go. And that's it for articulation. So now, on to sizing. Of course, here is his master daddy spawn thing, King of Monsters. Okay, they look pretty good together. This is the original 98 King of Monsters, not the reissue, but they look pretty good. You could see this coming out of the back of this, like that. So, they look good together. And I don't have Skyla, unfortunately, or Ultraman Gaia, or Tiga, or Dyna. So, oh, I can see part of the background there. So, we will move straight on to the other Ultraman I have, Ultraman Powered. And this is a major issue with the figure. He is way undersized. I believe Bajiris is 69 meters. And Ultraman Powered here is 55 meters, so he should be like that big compared to Powered, but he isn't. Powered should be like that big. Yeah, I don't know how that whole thing works there, but yeah. But unlike King of Monsters, who's very undersized, it kind of looks alright for Bajiris, and definitely not accurate, but it looks alright. I guess that's just because I always thought of him as being a smaller monster, because he did just spawn out of King of Monsters' back. And next, here is the Ultra Hero Alpha Ultraman Cosmos Corona mode, because he's a more articulated figure. And even if you do get him into the standard kind of Ultraman fight pose, Bajiris still looks way too small. So, yeah. I just had to do that. Anyways, next, here is the Ultract Ultraman Leo. Because, just to show how he looks with an Ultract figure, and, again, way too out of scale. Really kind of Bajiris' fault. Not really the Ultra's fault. Next, here is the 2007 Ultra Hero Monster Series, Powered Baltan, which... This is obviously an inaccurate scale. I think Bajiris should be either as tall as Baltan or taller than Baltan, but again, I just thought I'd bring Baltan because Powered Baltan in because Bajiris kind of looks like a powered monster. This review is going by really fast. It's going to be really short, isn't it? Next, here is Showa Gigan, because they look really similar. Gigan and Bajiris, more than Super COV does, or Super Cov, or whatever his name is. So yeah, they look good together. You can, if you want to use them for something, like a movie, you can. They definitely do look very similar. Similar sort of chest patterns and feet designs, and they obviously the whole multiple gold wings on their back thing going on, so that's cool. That is cool. Next, here is Final Wars Gigan, or Chogokin Gigan, which is very inaccurate, but they still look okay together. I mean, Bajiris is way out of scale, regardless of who you put him with, although he might look good with this 500 line. But even though, with that aside, he still looks alright with other figures, I guess, to me at least. Next, here is the Mechagodzilla 2 vinyl version from the Memorial Box. Oh, Jesus, I sound more disinterested in this review than I do in the Baragon review. Yeah, anyways, this is way too inaccurate. 50 meters, 69 meters, should be like there. Overall, it's just a very inaccurately sized figure. Next, here's my repainted Bandai Creation Rodan, because he's in every review. And they look okay together. Again, inaccurate, but actually looks alright with Rodan. And doesn't look that bad. If you wanted to use him in a fan film or something, you could. Next, here is Mechagodzilla 1993, or Heisei Mechagodzilla. It would make for an interesting battle, and they look good enough together. So, there's that. And next, here is the NECA 6-inch Godzilla 2014. Way too inaccurate. He should be up to this Godzilla's waist. But I guess it works because he's supposed to be smaller, so at least his shortness does sort of come in handy. And if you want to do a fan film with them or something, then you can. Next, here is the NECA Pacific Rim axe head, just as a generic kaiju mold, because they all use this mold, basically. And this is inaccurate, but works because he's way shorter than he is. And just here to give you an idea of how big these figures are. And next, here is the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1995 Rebirth version. Inaccurate, but sort of works because he should be shorter than this Godzilla. And finally, here's just a 50-meter Godzilla, or Showa Godzilla 1975, which looks a little inaccurate, but they work if you want to use them in a fan film or something. So that's it for sizing. And now on to the final part of the review, the history. This figure, well, not history of the character, but history of the figure, pricing and all that other stuff. This figure was originally released in 1998 to coincide with the release of Ultraman Tika, Dyna, and Gaia Battle in Hyperspace, released alongside King of Monsters and the other figures, Skyla, who I don't have, and had a different paint job than this. Just look, the paint job was sort of like this, except, yeah, you get the idea here. He had a brighter gold and silver on top of his claws and black around the eyes. It was a much different paint job. You'd think you were looking at a different figure, but you're not. And it was the usual Ultra Monster price, you know, like 1,500 yen, which is about $15. And then re-released again in 2007 as what you're looking at here, or at least in the 2007 Ultra Monster series. And yeah, it's never been reissued again, had the same price, and I haven't really checked the pricing, but I would assume it's usually around $15 to $20. So, not that uncommon of a figure, and overall, oh, and also I forgot to mention, I think it's actually these holes in his wings, and his bone wings being filled in, which is why he shows so short. Like, if he didn't have those holes, they probably could have used the vinyl to make him taller, which is, I'm pretty sure, why King of Monsters also has that issue. So overall, I'm going to give this figure, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. He's not that special of a figure. He looks pretty cool, but he has a lot of issues. So there we go, 7 out of 10. If you can find him for around $15 to $20, pick him up. It's a pretty cool figure. That's it for this review. You can go now. I said go. Go. Go.